Greetings, grade 9, and welcome to your 12th lesson in economic applications. Today, we are looking at the chapter Sectors in the Indian Economy, and we are looking at the topic, the problems of Indian agriculture. In the last few classes, we have learned that agricultural sector is a part of the primary sector, and that agriculture is the biggest industry in the Indian economy. And also you learned the importance of agriculture in the Indian economy. Today we go on to see the problems that are existing in this biggest sector in the Indian economy. And in order to study the problems of the Indian economy, we look at the mnemonic which says, useful Indians nod off constantly for the paise making action. Right? The first U, there are two U's, stands for uncertain rainfall. In India, one of the most important factor that helps agriculture is rainfall. And most of the time, the rainfall is under no one's control. It is highly unreliable. Sometimes the rainfall is very high and sometimes the rainfall is very low. And there are very few years when rainfall is adequate for the Indian farmers. And because of that, India faces a big problem in agriculture because of uncertain rainfall. The second U stands for uneconomic land holdings. If you look at the table, you will see that in India, a large percentage, almost 56.8%, have an average land holding of less than 0.4 hectares. Now that is very small. In order to run your tractors, in order to run your irrigation facilities, you need a very large and decent size of land holding. And most of the farmers in India have very small land holding, and you can see that almost out of every 100 farmers, almost 60 farmers have very small land holdings, which is non-economic, and you cannot earn too much money on this kind of land holding. Secondly, the irrigation facilities in India is not adequate. It has not reached each and every farm and farming land. And Indian farmers suffer a lot due to inadequate irrigation facilities. Also, in India, farmers are uneducated, and when they use inputs means all the things that are required, all the units or all the raw materials that are required for the farming purpose. This involves fertilizer, water, power, even money is an important input, seeds, and irrigation facility. This is not used properly, and they are sometimes pesticides are not used in the right quantity, fertilizers are not used in the right quantity, farmers do not know where to go and get their loan and money, they don't know which seeds are good and which seeds are bad, and because of the improper use of inputs, sometimes agriculture does not do well in certain states and certain regions. Natural clemencies, that means natural disasters, farmers are not able to save themselves from this natural calamities because they do not have enough infrastructural facilities. Storage facilities are not there. So during a bad storm or during floods, most of the agricultural production goes to waste, and therefore farmers suffer in the Indian agriculture. Also, the methods of farming are very old, because to every way of or every method that is used in the farming process, whether it is extraction of water, plowing, putting in of seeds, storing of the finished product, there is always a modern method of doing things, and that is not used in the Indian agriculture. Our farmers have a very conservative nature. So therefore, when they work, they are not able to take in new methods. They are not able to utilize the best benefits that are available and modern techniques that are available in the present time in the farming methods. Next, we see that financial facilities are also lacking for farmers, because farmers, like any ordinary businesses, also require finances. And there are three types of finances that are required. One of them is for a short period to buy seeds and fertilizers. One is for a medium period for more than 5 years to buy machineries like tractors, for combined harvesters, and also for machineries used inside the farms. And the farmers also require a loan in large amount, which they can repay back after more than 10 to 15 years for putting in infrastructural changes like digging a canal, for buying the land in which they work in. So these kind of loans are not easily available to the farmers because they do not have the paying back power, and also they do not have collateral. Collateral means the required amount of security to give to the banks whenever they take the loan. Also in India, farmers are often not the owners of the land in which they work in. They are working as tenants, and the tenant laws are sometimes not favorable to the farmers. The landowners sometimes takes advantage of the farmers when they are giving their land out on rent. They charge high rent, they throw the tenants whenever they want, and tenants are sometimes not protected in our Indian economy. So farmers require strong tenancy laws in order for farming to do well in the Indian economy. Also, Indian economy suffers from excessive population, because India is a country where a large amount of people are engaged in agriculture, but at the same time, most of the people who are working inside the farms, they are known as disguised unemployed, which means that there is much more people than what is actually required. If a farm requires only 10 people, 100 people are working in the same farm. So this excessive population in the farms also sometimes do worse or do more damage than they do good in the Indian agriculture. Marketing and storage facilities are not enough, and mostly the amount of money that has to be invested to build storage and marketing facilities are very high, and farmers do not have adequate storage and marketing facilities, because of which their farm produce rots away and they are not able to get a good price, and because of that our Indian agriculture suffers. Although there are a large number of agricultural universities and there are colleges that impart agricultural education, at the same time, the research that is done is not adequate. If we compare this with most of the developed countries, the amount of research and development that takes place in agriculture is also inadequate. So these are some of the problems that our Indian agriculture faces. I would like you to revise over it. Please look at your textbook, look at the points that are given, and remember the problems of the agricultural sector through the mnemonic. Useful Indians nod off constantly for the paise making action, and remember the different points that each of the letters stand for. So thank you, grade 9. Best for this particular topic also.